Carbon is all around us. All living things contain carbon, from plants to people. It is one of the essential building blocks of life. Carbon is also in most of the things we use every day. For example, computers, medicines, plastics, cars, cement, transport fuel and buildings all contain large amounts of carbon. Currently, most of the carbon used to make these things is sourced directly from fossil fuels, like oil. So what if we could use other sources of carbon instead, like carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide, or CO2, is a greenhouse gas, produced by respiration and combustion. Rising levels of CO2 in the Earth's atmosphere from industry, power generation, transportation and manufacturing processes are strongly believed to be contributing to global warming and climate change. To help tackle climate change, we need to dramatically reduce the amount of CO2 being released to the atmosphere. Of course, there are things we can all do to help reduce our CO2 emissions, such as insulating our homes or walking rather than driving. However, CO2 emissions will also have to be reduced in other ways. For example, by making industrial manufacturing processes more efficient, improving the fuel efficiency of cars and aeroplanes, and using less fossil fuels to generate electricity. What if we could also capture and use some of this carbon dioxide to make the things we need instead of releasing it into the atmosphere? Carbon Dioxide Utilisation, or CDU, refers to a range of industrial processes that capture and make use of CO2 to create usable and saleable products like cement and other building materials, plastics for use in things like clothing, bottles or memory foam mattresses, pharmaceuticals like aspirin, and other useful chemicals like methanol. We can even make petrol and diesel for use in road, rail and air transportation. The CO2 used in CDU can be captured from industrial sources, such as power stations or steel manufacture, but can also be collected directly from the air. CDU replaces the direct use of oil and gas as the source of carbon for manufacturing such products. Therefore, CDU can be thought of as a kind of CO2 recycling process. Converting CO2 into these usable products does require a lot of energy. However, this can be provided by renewable sources, such as wind turbines and solar power. Sometimes more renewable energy is produced than can be used, and there is a surplus. It is this energy that would be used. CDU will only use some of the CO2 generated by large emitters like power stations. As such, the unused CO2 will either need to be released into the atmosphere as normal, or permanently stored via a process known as carbon capture and storage, or CCS. CCS could help to prevent the release of large quantities of CO2 into the atmosphere by transporting and storing it underground, for example in depleted oil and gas fields. However, CCS requires a lot of energy to work, so is expensive. Importantly, by generating saleable products like plastic and cement, CDU technologies could help to reduce the costs associated with CCS. In summary, carbon is needed to make many of the things we use every day, from cement to plastics, pharmaceuticals to fuels. Currently, fossil fuels like oil are used as the source of carbon for manufacturing these things. Carbon dioxide utilisation, however, provides a viable means of using waste CO2 from industrial processes, or even directly from the air, as a new source of carbon to make a diverse array of useful, saleable items. While research into CDU is ongoing, CDU is a reality, and some products using captured CO2 will be on the market in the next few years. Find out more about CDU by visiting the CO2 Chem Network website.